Hey, flying free sisters on Facebook. I am going live. Okay, with my family, and I'm going to do this every Monday morning. We're going to call it Monday Morning Moment or something like that. Help me figure out a good name. I'm going to give you a little bit of a glimpse into my personal life, and I'm going to share something that I'm learning each Monday morning. Okay, so first of all, I got to turn this around. How do I turn this camera around? Hold on a sec. Okay, so this is my family. They're all getting ready for, well, they're not getting ready for the day. This is the day. That's my husband, Tom. That's my daughter, Jenny. These are our three puppies, which don't even ask me. Don't even ask me why we have three dogs.
Thor, Simba.
Yep, and they're a lot of fun. And this is what they require. They require a lot of just mental stimulation. So this is our new gadget that we got. These things, they show them how it works. Show them how it works, Thor.
Huh?
Oh, they're not playing with it. You put food in it, and then here's one. And then they spin it on the ground, and it spits out food, and then they eat it. The only thing is it's brand new, so the only one who figured it out so far is this guy, Rambo. And when he spins it, the other two are total freeloaders. They will just watch the thing go around and wait for the food to come out. It spits out like 1 or 2 grains at a time. And the other two will dive in and eat the grains. And then Rambo's just in it for the fun. These guys are in it for the food. Okay, good morning from Kansas. Lisa from Kansas. I'm not from Kansas. I'm from Minnesota. Okay, so that's that. This is breakfast time. Breakfast time with the iPad. Can you say hi? That's Peter. And that's David. David's okay. Okay. All right.
You don't look like beautiful couches and puppies. Do they?
Yeah, they are gorgeous. Okay, we're going to move on now, though. All right? Okay, so I'm going to turn this back around. I'm going to go downstairs now. Because that was the little family life snapshot. And now I'm going to tell you about a question I got yesterday. It actually wasn't a question. It was more of a concern. This is my office. Gosh, I'm going to show you my office next time. Let me just turn on a light here. So the question is, and I thought this was so good. Hold on, I got to put on a different pair of glasses. Those are my computer glasses, and they're like purple. All right, so someone said this. I'm going to read this. Do you ever get angry at how a lot of ladies' divorces go? Example, the husband just gets away with not paying or just hides all the money. The court doesn't help. Where is God? Again, I see him, God, choosing the husband over the wife. Yes, I know the reward is Christ, and her testimony will be grand, but presently stranded and dependent on others for everything. The ex gets on with his life and his career. She has her life and her kids. The kids she'll have to share custody with him. I know God is God and that I have to trust him, but where is the justice for the woman? When he returns and in heaven, we're probably to only be concerned with the woman and her life and safety. The man is no longer the issue. Every story must be fuel you keep to go forward. There are so many similar stories. It's scary that so many of us have been fooled by similar messages and lies. Definitely will keep you in business. I'm grateful for your creativity and passion to help us heal. Okay, so I just want to say that, first of all, I can totally relate to this. This was definitely, and is definitely a cry of my heart. My husband has listened to me rant and rave about this kind of stuff on a regular basis. I hear stories every single day that are mind-blowing, that make me want to tear my hair out. And if I didn't have some kind of an anchor to hold me together, I don't know what I would, well, yeah, I don't even want to think about what I would do. But if you look around, it's not just this though. I mean, the abusive relationships that we have with our husbands, or that Christian women have with their husbands, is just a microcosm of what's going on in the whole world on a grand scale. Okay, so think about it. I mean, we want God to rescue us, but what about the genocide? What about the children who are being trafficked? What about children who are being beaten in their homes and being tortured and molested by relatives? What about government corruption? What about starvation? I mean, what about all the, there are so many things you could look at in this, on planet Earth, all throughout history. You could focus on all of those things. And I think we need to not turn an eye. And one thing that I believe that our experiences do for us is that they make us aware of the sorrows and the tragedies that are in this world. Because I don't know if I've had friends in my past that never really experienced anything difficult. They never lost a mom or a dad. They never lost a child. They never had a miscarriage. They had plenty of money to buy whatever they wanted to. They never wanted for anything. Their relationships were all amazing. And I always used to wonder, I had a few friends like that. And I always wondered, like, when I would share any of my trials or tribulations with them, they had no idea what I was talking about. And they would usually give some trite kind of, comment or whatever to try to make me feel better. Like, snap out of it, Natalie. Life is great. And they couldn't really sit down and understand what it was like to go through so much pain on such a daily basis. So, I think that, if you could call it a perk, I guess one of the profound things about going through what we've gone through is that we are more deeply aware of the pain that's in our world. And that puts us in a very unique position to be able to be a comfort, to be able to truly love people from a place of understanding and true empathy. All right? Seriously, who do you want to sit with when you're in the pits? Do you want to sit with that person? Or do you want to sit with someone who's been there before or who's gone through, something similar? I remember one of my friends lost her child to cancer. He was like 3 years old, adorable little boy. And I watched her go through 2 years of hell watching him die. And then after he died, I was a new mom. I had one child at the time, and it was a little boy, and I was terrified that God was going to take my little boy from me. And I had already lost a baby girl. But she was the one that I wanted to hear from to comfort me about my loss and also my fears of losing another child. She was the one. I gravitated to her like a soft teddy bear, a comfort. And her faith was absolutely tremendous. So she was a real gift to me. And I think that we can be gifts to other people. All right. But that doesn't help when our children are being ostracized from us and we're still dealing with our exes. Okay. Here's the thing. Remember when Jesus came into this sin-sick planet? Everyone thought, they truly believed, the Jewish people believed, that the Messiah was going to come and set them free from all of the things that they could look around and see, okay? All of the obvious injustices in the world. Now, at the time that Jesus came, it was the Roman government that was ruining the Jewish people's lives, stripping everything away from them, controlling everything they did, completely taking away their freedom. Jesus comes into the middle of that. And when people started realizing who Jesus was, they started believing, maybe he is the Messiah. Okay, what's the next step? He's going to set us free. They were super excited. When they were waving palm branches when he went into Jerusalem, the week before they actually killed him, they were doing that because they truly believed that he was the Messiah and he was going to set up his kingdom on earth and the Roman Empire was going to be wiped out. That's what they thought. That's justice, right? That is good winning over evil. And that's the cry of their hearts is the cry of our hearts. And what did Jesus do? He died. He died. Now, yes, he rose again, but I'm just saying, try to imagine what that must have been like. Their Messiah gets murdered like a thief. He gets accused of basically being a blasphemer, and he's murdered. Murdered between two thieves the day before Passover or Sabbath. I'm sorry, not the Passover. I'm getting all of the Jewish holidays mixed up. Anyway, my point is, that Jesus did something far more profound in that moment in time. He changed individual lives. All right? So for some reason, God, our creator, felt that it was very important to come into this world and not overthrow governments and not overthrow injustice and not stop. Now, did he do things? Did he heal people? Yes, he did. Did he speak truth? Yes, he did. He did all of those things, but he did not take power at that moment in time because it wasn't time yet. Instead, he changed individual lives, and he taught us. Remember when he talked about the parable about the leaven in which is like yeast in dough? It takes a while for that leaven to go through the whole ball of dough and make it leavened so that it will rise and become this beautiful piece of bread. Or the story of the mustard seed, itty bitty tiny microscopic seed that turns into this gargantuan tree that provides shade and feeds people. And you guys, that's what we are. We are part of that movement that started 2,000 years ago. That's what Christianity is supposed to be. That's not what Christianity has become, but that at its core is what it's supposed to be. And you are a true Christian. You are a follower of this God-man, Jesus Christ. And that means that he is going to do things in and through you to not only to set yourself free, not externally, you guys, no, internally. He wants to set us free inside because that is where all the power is. You can go in and overthrow a government, and what do you think is going to happen next? A new government is going to spring up in its place and possibly do more and greater damage than the old government did. That's not where the answer is. Do I believe justice will happen one day? Absolutely. I believe that there is going to be justice, that there is going to be vindication, that all the truth will be revealed. That's part of my faith. All right, that's what I have decided to believe. Anything that we believe, you guys, is faith. We're choosing to believe it. We don't just believe what we were taught growing up. That's not faith. Our faith is built on what we choose to believe in our minds, what we choose to put there, what we choose to program ourselves with based on our studying and our researching and our decisions. God wants us to choose faith in Jesus Christ because we want it. We want to believe. We want to throw all of our eggs in his basket and not in any other basket. Okay? We can see and people have, you guys, it's so tragic. People have looked around and they see all of the injustice and they say, forget it then, I'm just going to throw God out with all of that. There must not be a God, because if there was a God, he would operate according to my manual for life. All right, that's imposing our rule book on God. We can't do that. We have an idea, an inkling, but I'll tell you this. We do have an inkling of what God's rule book is, all right? Because we can feel an indignation rising up inside of us when we see a child or hear of a child being tortured or molested, all right? That is the Holy Spirit. When we feel angry about that, I truly believe that is the Holy Spirit rising up in anger over that. And indignation over the fact that his creation is being marred and destroyed by evil. And so I believe that that's going to one day. But how can we help in the meantime? You guys, Jesus isn't going to come in, swoop down, and rescue us in that way. Jesus rescues us by putting his spirit inside of us, and then we go out and we love. We go out and we live as Jesus lived. We become fully strong in our identity, just as Jesus was fully strong in his identity. It didn't matter if people called him the son of the devil. He knew who he was. That did not leave him a crumpled heap on the ground. So we rise up, we grow strong in our identity, no matter what anybody says about us, no matter if they excommunicate us from our churches, no matter if they hate on us and tell us that we are bipolar or borderline or whatever they want to put on us because they don't like us anymore, because they hate us, because they are coming from a place of hatred and also coming from a place of deep and tremendous shame. All right, this is evil. Shame. The enemy wants us to be closed in on ourselves, to be hidden, to be behind walls and full of shame. And then if anyone gets near us, we lash out in hatred and anger towards them. Okay? That's why men and sometimes women take power over positions over other people because they are unable. There's so much shame inside of themselves. I'm not excusing them. I'm just saying that at the root of all of our sin is shame and self-loathing. And then we try to make ourselves feel better by getting back at everybody else, by taking power over them, by being better than they are. You guys, us nice Christian women can do this too, okay? Anytime we feel jealous of somebody, that's what we're experiencing. Anytime we feel judgy of somebody, oh my word, look at them. Wow, that skirt's a little too high. I'm seeing her thigh. You know, that's judgy, okay? Why are we looking at her skirt and her thigh? Why aren't we looking at her heart? Why aren't we looking at who she is? She's a human being. All right, I'm going off on 5 million rabbit trails here, but let me get back to the whole God thing, all right? So here's the thing. I see the redemption and the rescuing and the love of Jesus Christ in things every single day. I see it in the middle of horrible things every single day. There's this part of our brain that notices things. Have you ever noticed that if you're going to buy a new car and you're thinking about a specific kind of car? I just heard this I heard it because I'm listening to Audible. It's a book called Ninja Selling, and it's for realtors, but it's actually a phenomenal book about life. It's incredible. Anyway, by the way, if any of you, I highly recommend that book. I'm going to buy that book for all my kids for Christmas. Ninja Selling. I know it's a stupid name and it makes you think that it's like a salesy, gimmicky book. It's nothing like that. Anyway, there's this part of your brain, it's called the RAS, and I can't remember I'm just reading this book. I just started it last night, so I don't know why it's called the RAS. It's like a name for a piece of your brain. And this part of your brain notices things that you program it to notice. So if you're going to be buying a new car, you will start noticing all of the cars out there that are exactly like the car that you're going to buy or the car that you just bought. All right. If you hear about a story or you hear about an event, you'll start noticing, or if you hear about a product, you'll start noticing it's being advertised all over the place, for example. So we notice what we're focused on, and we can actually program our RAS to notice certain things. So here's the thing. If our RAS is programmed to noticing all of the hell going on around us, that's what we're going to notice. And it's there. I'm not saying it's not there. It's definitely there and needs to be noticed. But we also need to give the other stuff equal airtime, you guys. We need to start noticing and start programming our brain to notice the amazing, incredible, beautiful, miraculous things. Okay, so when our kids come home from seeing their dad, they might be sharing all the crap that goes on, but you will start noticing the beautiful thing that goes on. Maybe one of them tells you about how she stood up for herself. Oh my word, that's an amazing, you'll start noticing that, and instead of sitting there with your kids and going, oh my word, I can't believe that. Oh, you poor kids, I can't believe you have to go through that. You'll pick up on that little piece of how she stood up for herself, and you'll be like, that's amazing. Tell me more about that. How did you do that? That's so good. Did you guys notice what she did there? You guys can do that too. And this is how we grow, and this is how we learn. Do you see how we start promoting and start looking for it, and we start passing it on to other people and giving it? We're able to give more because we're filling ourselves up more because we're noticing the beautiful things more. And we can attribute those beautiful things to God. Now, some people don't. They attribute it to the universe, or they attribute it to fate, or they attribute it to their own goodwill of other people. And that's fine. But I personally choose to attribute it to our Creator, the Creator who created all the amazing things. You guys, I can have a shitty day, excuse my language, and I can go out and take a walk in nature. We're in a suburban neighborhood, but right behind us is a bunch of kind of farmland. I can go back and walk there, and I connect with God. There is something very healing and cleansing about that. And I notice God out there. I notice him in the birds. I notice him in the peace that I feel. That's what I'm talking about, you guys. All right. Now, here's the other thing. The last thing I want to leave with you is that when I was growing up as a girl, and even today, there's one event in history that has fascinated me more than any other event in history, and that's the Holocaust. I think what happened is I saw The Hiding Place when I was a little girl, and the movie, it came out in the 70s. And then I read the book numerous times as a child. And then when the movie Holocaust came out, that I think was in the also late 70s maybe, I watched that movie. And so here's some other movies that I've seen over the years that have hit me. The Hiding Place, Holocaust, Schindler's List, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and Life is Beautiful. And I'll put those links in the show notes. I'll put those links in the thing when I'm all done here. But those movies helped me to see what's so profound about those movies is that in probably one of the most diabolical times in history, when the most like satanic, just darkest, evilest moments in history where people were doing horrible, horrible things to other people for no freaking reason. I don't even care what your reason would be. We don't do that to other people. In one of those times in history, there are these pockets of stories. It's like in a coal mine, and all of a sudden you see this tiny little beautiful itty bitty flower growing, miraculously out of nowhere in a coal mine. That's what I see in these movies. You start seeing that incredible, that is Jesus Christ, you guys. That is what Jesus Christ came. He came down like a seemingly fragile flower in the middle of a coal mine, in the middle of hell. And he plants all of us, and he waters us, not with physical water, he doesn't feed us with physical food and physical water. He feeds us with himself. We feed from him, and we somehow miraculously grow and leaven, and we turn that coal mine into a beautiful oasis for those who will come and are thirsting and hungering for more. That's the vision for us. That is our destiny. All right? So that's all I have for you today. There's so much more we could talk about, but we need to go. I'll see you again next Monday. Fly free.